Did you know that some of the most legendary musicians in history have been exposed for making shocking racist statements? From Eric Clapton's disturbing rant on stage to Phil Anselmo's infamous salute that sent shockwaves through the music world. Here are 25 rock legends you didn't know were racist. 1. Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton's 1976 concert in Birmingham, England, should have been about the music. Instead, it became a moment that exposed his deeply troubling views. In front of his fans, he openly supported British politician Enoch Powell, a man known for his extreme anti-immigration stance. But he didn't stop there. Clapton took it further, using hateful and offensive words to say that Britain needed to remove non-white people. His words were not just shocking, they were a betrayal to many of his fans, especially since his career was built on blues music, a genre that came from African American culture. People were outraged, but Clapton did not seem to care. He doubled down, defending his comments instead of apologizing. His words and actions struck a nerve, shaking the music industry. In response to this, Rock Against Racism was born, a movement that stood against racist musicians and called for change. While Clapton later tried to downplay his comments, the damage was already done. Can a musician who profits from black culture but holds racist beliefs ever truly be trusted? 2. David Bowie. David Bowie was always known for reinventing himself, stepping into bold and unexpected roles that kept the world fascinated. But in the mid-1970s, his thin white duke persona took a dark turn that left many people unsettled. This character was cold, aristocratic, and eerily detached, a stark contrast to the vibrant and artistic figures Bowie had played before. During this time, Bowie made shocking statements that seemed to flirt with fascist imagery, leaving fans and critics completely confused. The most infamous moment came when he was photographed giving what appeared to be a Nazi salute, a gesture that sent shockwaves through the media and the public. People who had admired him for his boundary-pushing art and message of personal freedom were now forced to question everything. Could the man who once stood for creativity and self-expression truly be embracing such dangerous ideas? As the backlash grew, Bowie attempted to explain himself, but his words did little to calm the storm. He admitted that he had been lost in a haze of substance addiction, claiming that his mind was fragile and his actions weren't truly his own. He spoke of paranoia, confusion, and a lifestyle that had spiraled out of control. But even as he distanced himself from the statements he had made, the damage had already been done. The photographs, the interviews, the troubling energy of the thin white duke, none of it could simply be erased. 3. Phil Anselmo. Phil Anselmo had built his name in the heavy metal world, but his reputation took a dark turn when he started making racist statements. In 1995, during a concert in Montreal, he took a moment to attack rap artists and affirmative action using offensive and derogatory language. Fans who had come to enjoy his music instead found themselves witnessing something ugly. But Anselmo was far from done. The worst came in 2016. At a tribute event for Pantera's late guitarist Dimebag Darrell, Anselmo closed the night by raising his arm in a Nazi salute and shouting, "White Power." The video of that moment spread like wildfire. People were horrified. How could someone in the music industry, someone with such a large platform, display such open racism? At first, Anselmo dismissed it as a joke, saying it was just a reference to drinking white wine. But no one was laughing. Eventually, he issued an apology, but it felt forced, like an attempt to save his career rather than true regret. Can someone who so openly shows hate ever really take it back? Axl Rose. Axl Rose was no stranger to controversy, but in 1988 he crossed a line that would never be forgotten. Guns N' Roses released GNR Lies, and with it came the song One in a Million. The lyrics were shocking, filled with slurs targeting immigrants, black people, and the LGBTQ+ community. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't open to interpretation. It was outright offensive. The backlash was immediate. Fans and critics alike called out Rose for promoting hate. But instead of showing remorse, he defended himself. He claimed the song was just a reflection of his personal experiences, an expression of his frustration. But what kind of frustration leads a person to insult entire groups of people? Over time, the song was quietly left off future albums, as if the band wanted to erase its existence. 5. Ian Stewart Donaldson and Screwdriver. Ian Stewart Donaldson formed Screwdriver in 1976, and at first it seemed like just another punk rock band. But something changed. The music, once about rebellion and energy, took a darker turn. Screwdriver became a voice for white nationalism, using their songs to push racist beliefs. They didn't just perform. They became part of a movement, raising money and spreading messages of hate. The Rock Against Communism movement latched onto them, making them a key player in a growing extremist scene. Their lyrics weren't about unity or freedom. They were about division and superiority. This wasn't just music anymore. It was a dangerous tool used to recruit and radicalize. How many people heard their songs and started believing the hate they preached? How many minds were poisoned by their words? The legacy they left behind is one of harm, not art. Their influence did not fade easily. Their songs, filled with anger and bigotry, spread across countries, finding their way into the hands of those looking for an excuse to hate. Screwdriver concerts became rallies for extremists, places where hateful ideas were reinforced and new members were recruited. Their albums were more than just collections of songs. They were propaganda tools, spreading their beliefs to those willing to listen. Even decades later, their music remains a symbol for those who share their ideology. 6. Johnny Rebel, Clifford Joseph Trahan. Clifford Joseph Trahan, better known as Johnny Rebel, built a career on racist music. His songs from the 1960s weren't subtle. They openly supported segregation, praised the Ku Klux Klan, and mocked people of color. This wasn't just offensive, it was hateful, designed to stir up anger and spread racist ideas. Some say he later regretted it, claiming he only did it for money. But can that excuse the damage? His music didn't just fade away. It became an anthem for white supremacist groups, played and shared by those who believe in his hateful lyrics. Even today, his songs pop up in extremist circles used as fuel for racism. His recordings were not just offensive. They were dangerous, shaping the views of those already leaning toward extremism. 7. George Burdi. George Burdi wasn't just a musician. He was a leader in the white power movement. As the frontman of RAHOWA, short for Racial Holy War, his music wasn't about entertainment. It was about spreading an agenda. Through his band and his label, Resistance Records, he pushed racist messages to anyone willing to listen. In 1995, Burdi took his hate beyond words, attacking an anti-racist protester. That violent act landed him in prison, but did it change him? After his release, he claimed he had left those views behind, even forming a new band with members of different races. But whispers of his continued ties to white nationalism followed him. Did he truly change, or was it just another act? How many people listened to his words, believed in them, and acted on them? Even if he walked away, the damage was already done. His time in prison may have made him rethink some things, but his past was not so easily erased. His music had already spread, reaching thousands who embraced the hateful messages. His label had distributed racist albums across the world, fueling movements and radicalizing young minds. Even as he spoke of change, his earlier work remained out there, influencing those who refused to let go of their beliefs. 8. Honor. The Polish band, Honor, didn't hide its beliefs. Their lyrics were filled with National Socialist themes, neo-paganism, and white power ideologies. They didn't just sing about history or pride, they spread messages of hate. The Rock Against Communism movement welcomed them, making them a staple in the white power music scene. In 2002, vocalist Mariusz Szczerski was arrested for promoting neo-Nazism and anti-Semitism. His words weren't just lyrics, they were fuel for an extremist fire. When he died in 2005, it seemed like the band's story was over. But in 2015, they came back, picking up right where they left off. The Anti-Defamation League still lists them as a hate group, proving their influence hasn't faded. How many people heard their songs and felt justified in their hate? How far did their messages spread? Hate-filled music doesn't just stay in the past. It lingers, infecting new generations. Their comeback wasn't about redemption. It was about continuing their old mission. Even after the arrest of their vocalist, they persisted, finding new ways to spread their beliefs. Their music still circulates, reaching people looking for something to justify their hate. Bands like Honor don't just disappear, they adapt, finding new audiences, new ways to spread their messages. Does banning their music erase their impact, or does it only make them more appealing to those drawn to their ideology? Hate, once given a voice, is not so easily silenced. 9. Kanye West. 10. David Allan Coe. David Allan Coe built his career on country music, but behind his mainstream success lies a darker reality. His underground albums contain some of the most racist lyrics ever recorded, with songs that use offensive slurs and promote hateful themes. One track is particularly shocking, openly embracing racial insults and offensive stereotypes. Despite this, Coe insists he is not racist, claiming that his music is just storytelling from different perspectives. But how much of that defense can be believed when his songs go far beyond just telling a story? These aren't just offensive jokes or misinterpreted lyrics. They are clear, deliberate attacks on an entire group of people. While his die-hard fans try to justify his past, the rest of the world sees him for what he is, a man who profited from racism and never truly apologized for it. No matter how much success he found in country music, his legacy will always be stained by the hate in his lyrics. 11. Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent has built his image on being an unapologetic, no-nonsense rock star who says what he wants without worrying about backlash. But at some point, blunt speech turns into outright racism, and Nugent has crossed that line time and time again. He infamously called former President Barack Obama a subhuman mongrel, a phrase deeply rooted in racist ideology. That wasn't a slip of the tongue, it was part of a long history of using hateful language when talking about race. Whenever he is called out, Nugent plays the same card. He claims he was joking, misunderstood, or taken out of context. But if that were true, why does he keep doing it? He chooses words meant to provoke, meant to divide, and then shrugs off the consequences. Civil rights organizations have repeatedly condemned his remarks, yet he refuses to change. His defenders call him bold, unfiltered, and anti-PC, but the reality is much simpler. His words have fueled racist rhetoric for years, and he has done nothing to stop it. Instead, he has embraced the outrage, using it to stay relevant in a world that is slowly leaving his outdated views behind. 12. Varg Vikernes. Varg Vikernes is infamous not just for his music, but for his disturbing and dangerous beliefs. Once a key figure in Norway's black metal scene, his legacy took a darker turn when he was convicted of eliminating fellow musician Euronymous. But that was only the beginning of his infamy. While in prison, he became more vocal about his white nationalist beliefs, writing books and making statements that pushed the idea of racial superiority. His music, once just part of an extreme underground scene, became a rallying cry for hate groups. Even after serving his sentence, he never distanced himself from these views. In France, he was arrested again for allegedly inciting racial hatred, yet his influence among extremists only grew. Some still try to separate his music from his ideology, but when the two are so closely linked, is that even possible? His words have been used to spread hate, to justify violence, and to strengthen racist movements. He may call himself an artist, but history will remember him for something far darker. His story is a reminder that hate doesn't just live in politics. It can seep into music, into culture, and into the minds of those who refuse to let go of dangerous ideas. 13. Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons, the bassist and co-founder of Kiss, has never been one to hold back his words. Over the years, he has made many statements that have been called out as racially insensitive, and the backlash has been loud. He has been known to make sweeping generalizations about different ethnic groups, particularly targeting African Americans and immigrants. His comments on Native Americans have been especially harsh. He once suggested they should simply learn English and fit in, as if their culture and history didn't matter. These words did not sit well with many, but Simmons brushed off the criticism, claiming he meant no harm. But can words be excused just because someone says they weren't meant to offend? The real question is, why does he keep saying things like this? His remarks go beyond casual conversation. He has a pattern of making bold, insensitive claims and then acting surprised when people react negatively. This has led to debates about whether his views stem from ignorance or something more intentional. While some fans still defend him, saying his words are just part of his controversial personality, others are not convinced. Actions speak louder than words, but in Simmons's case, his words are loud enough on their own. Even as he continues to perform and speak publicly, the shadow of his past comments lingers. 14. Kid Rock. Kid Rock has built his career on being bold, brash, and completely unfiltered, but that same attitude has landed him in controversy, especially when it comes to race. He has repeatedly used racial slurs during performances and interviews, showing little concern for the backlash. He doesn't just say the wrong things, he doubles down, refusing to apologize or even acknowledge why people are upset. His support for the Confederate flag is a perfect example. He insists it represents Southern pride, but for many it is a painful reminder of a dark past. Can one symbol mean two different things, or is Kid Rock ignoring history? The controversy reached a boiling point in 2011 when he was given the NAACP's Great Expectations Award. Many people were outraged, questioning why he would be honored by a civil rights group while openly displaying a symbol linked to oppression. Protesters made their voices heard, but Kid Rock didn't seem to care. Then in 2019, he took things even further by launching an attack on Oprah Winfrey, using language that was widely seen as offensive. Instead of backtracking or clarifying his words, he stood firm, refusing to show any remorse. His defiance has only fueled more criticism, making it clear that he will never change. 15. Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley is often called the king of rock and roll, but his legacy comes with a debate that won't go away. Many believe he built his success on music created by black artists, taking credit while they struggled in the shadows. He was deeply influenced by gospel, blues, and rhythm and blues. But did he ever truly acknowledge the artists who paved the way? Some say he showed respect, while others argue that he profited from a culture that was never his. This debate only deepens when allegations of racist comments are brought into the discussion. Though there is little concrete evidence, the accusations still linger. Can a legacy be celebrated if questions like these remain unanswered? Despite the controversy, Elvis often worked with black musicians and credited their influence on his music. But the bigger issue is how the music industry treated black artists compared to him. While he was rising to worldwide fame, many black musicians who had pioneered the same sound were being ignored. The industry was eager to promote a white star singing black music, making it easier for him to become a legend while others were left behind. Whether Elvis was personally racist or not, his success is tied to an industry that did not treat all artists fairly. Does admiration for an art form erase the responsibility to acknowledge those who created it? Even now, decades after his death, people continue to question his role in music history. Was he a thief, or was he simply a performer who loved the music he grew up with? These questions might never be fully answered, but one thing is certain: his legacy will always carry this debate. 16. Don Henley. Don Henley, the drummer and vocalist of the Eagles, has never shied away from sharing his opinions. But some of his comments have drawn serious criticism, especially when it comes to race and music. He has openly criticized rap and R&B, making statements that many believe are dismissive of black musicians. His complaints about rock music being pushed aside for political correctness have only fueled accusations that he holds racial biases. In a time when music is more diverse than ever, why does he feel the need to single out these genres? Music evolves and genres grow, but Henley seems unwilling to accept these changes. He has spoken as if rock music is being attacked rather than simply evolving alongside other styles. His remarks have led many to wonder if he truly values all forms of musical expression, or if he only respects the genres that suit his personal taste. His defenders argue that he is simply a traditionalist, clinging to the sound he knows best. But critics see a deeper issue. Why does he only complain when black-dominated genres gain more recognition? Henley has never admitted to any racial bias, but his words have raised serious concerns. Whether intentional or not, his statements reflect an attitude that has sparked backlash. As the world moves forward, people expect artists to grow and recognize their influence on culture. 17. Roger Waters. Roger Waters, the mastermind behind Pink Floyd, has spent years defending himself against accusations of anti-Semitism. Many of his critics say his harsh words about Israel go beyond politics and reveal a deeper prejudice. He has used shocking imagery in his concerts, including a floating pig marked with a Star of David, which many found offensive. Waters argues that he is only targeting governments, not people, but that explanation has not convinced everyone. The controversy has followed him for years, making it impossible to separate his legacy from these accusations. But the real question remains: does his message cross the line into hate, or is he simply misunderstood? Waters has never shied away from controversy, and some believe he enjoys stirring up trouble. His words and actions have led to bans in several countries, with concert venues refusing to host his performances. Despite the backlash, he continues to double down, insisting that his critics are twisting his words. This defiance has only added fuel to the fire, making some wonder if he thrives on pushing boundaries regardless of the consequences. If Waters' goal was to make a statement, he has certainly succeeded, but at what cost? His statements have been dissected over and over, yet the accusations never seem to disappear. Many people who once admired him now view him with suspicion. Can an artist's political beliefs be separated from their work, or is his past forever stained? Even those who defend his right to free speech admit that his words carry weight, and in today's world, that weight can be dangerous. Roger Waters may see himself as a fearless truth-teller, but history will decide whether he is remembered as a visionary or as a man who went too far. 18. John Mayer. John Mayer once had an image as a charming, talented musician with a smooth voice and heartfelt lyrics. But in 2010, that image cracked when he gave an interview that left people stunned. During the conversation, he casually dropped the N-word and made inappropriate comments about race, sending shockwaves through his fan base. His explanation that he was trying to be funny only made things worse. Many wondered how someone who seemed so intelligent could make such careless and offensive remarks. He also spoke about his dating preferences in a way that made people deeply uncomfortable. His words implied that he placed women into categories based on race, as if attraction were some sort of ranking system. It was more than just a bad choice of words. It revealed a mindset that many found disturbing. Apologies came quickly, but the damage was done. His smooth-talking persona suddenly seemed like a mask hiding something less appealing underneath. For months, he faced backlash from both fans and fellow musicians. Some people were willing to forgive him, but others were not so quick to move on. Was this just a thoughtless mistake, or did it reveal a deeper issue? The controversy forced him to step back and reconsider how he presented himself to the world. But no matter how much time passes, that interview remains a stain on his career, a reminder that words have power, and once spoken, they cannot be taken back. 19. Morrissey. Morrissey has never been one to hold his tongue, but over the years, his statements have become more and more controversial. He has spoken out against immigration, claiming that it is destroying Britain's national identity. His remarks have drawn the support of far-right groups, making many question his true beliefs. When confronted, he insists that he is simply proud of his country, but does patriotism have to come at the expense of others? It isn't just his words about immigration that have raised eyebrows. In interviews, he has made comments that suggest he believes some cultures do not belong in certain places. Critics argue that his language is coded, a way of expressing racist ideas without saying them outright. Others believe he is simply out of touch, a man from another era who refuses to change with the times. But whether intentional or not, his words have consequences, shaping the way people see him. Morrissey's supporters claim he is being unfairly targeted, that his words are being twisted by those who want to bring him down. But can all the criticism be wrong? Time and time again, his statements have stirred anger, yet he refuses to apologize. Is he standing by his beliefs, or is he too stubborn to admit when he is wrong? The more he speaks, the harder it becomes to separate the artist from the controversy. One thing is certain, Morrissey will never be able to silence the critics who now define his legacy as much as his music does. 20. Steven Tyler. Steven Tyler, the larger-than-life frontman of Aerosmith, has spent decades in the spotlight. His wild antics and bold personality have made him a rock legend, but they have also landed him in trouble. Some of Aerosmith's early lyrics contained words that, in today's world, would not be acceptable. While those songs were written in a different time, they remain part of his legacy, leaving people to question what he really believes. Beyond his music, Tyler's comments in interviews have sometimes been questionable. He has made offhand remarks about different racial groups that some find uncomfortable, while he has never been at the center of a major scandal. His history is filled with moments that raise eyebrows. Fans have debated whether these remarks were meant as jokes or if they hint at something more troubling. In an industry where every word is scrutinized, nothing stays buried for long. Over the years, Tyler has distanced himself from these past controversies, choosing to focus on his music and career. But in the age of social media, nothing is truly forgotten. Can someone outrun their past, or will it always catch up with them? His career has not suffered the way others have, but that does not mean the conversation is over. The question remains, should fans overlook an artist's past, or does it shape who they really are? 21. Hank Williams Jr. Hank Williams Jr. has made statements that have left many people shocked and disturbed. His words about former President Barack Obama have been so offensive that even his most loyal fans have struggled to defend him. He has also pushed dangerous conspiracy theories about Black Lives Matter, spreading claims that fuel division. In 2011, his words went too far when he compared Obama to Adolf Hitler. ESPN immediately dropped his song from Monday Night Football, a move that showed just how serious his words were. But even after this, Williams refused to back down. Instead of apologizing, he doubled down, claiming he was just speaking his mind. This attitude has only cemented his reputation as someone who refuses to take responsibility for the weight of his words. 22. Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne is known for his wild behavior, but his racist comments cannot be brushed aside as mere rock star antics. He has used racial slurs in interviews and even on stage, leaving many questioning his true beliefs. One of the most shocking moments came in the 1980s when he hurled offensive language at a black security guard. Though he later apologized, it is hard to ignore how casually he used such hateful words. Was it really a mistake, or did it reveal something deeper about his views? His history of making insensitive remarks about black musicians only adds to the concern. Some might argue that his influence in rock music is undeniable, but can his legacy ever be separated from his repeated offenses? The music industry has often forgiven its legends, but at what cost? 23. Sid Vicious. Sid Vicious built his image on being reckless, but some of his choices went far beyond rebellion. The Sex Pistols bassist was frequently seen wearing swastika shirts, an act that cannot simply be dismissed as youthful rebellion. He claimed it was all for shock value, but is there ever a reason to use hateful symbols just to provoke? Many believe his actions were not just about stirring controversy, but reflected something more troubling. The punk rock movement was known for embracing chaos, but there is a difference between being edgy and promoting dangerous imagery. Even now, his use of Nazi symbols continues to spark debate. Was he just a reckless young man, or was there something more sinister behind his choices? 24. Paul Stanley. Paul Stanley of Kiss has made comments that have sparked serious conversations about race and music. He has spoken harshly about hip-hop and rap, implying that these genres lack talent and are not as valuable as rock. These statements have led to accusations that he is dismissive of black artists and their contributions to music. Why does he feel the need to tear down other genres instead of recognizing their impact? His views have left many questioning whether he believes rock music is superior because of who traditionally dominates it. While he insists that his comments are not racist, the fact remains that they have hurt and alienated many. Music is meant to bring people together, but Stanley's words have done the opposite. 25. Bruce Dickinson. Bruce Dickinson, the legendary frontman of Iron Maiden, has also made statements that many see as racist. He has openly called rap music rubbish and has suggested that certain cultures have not contributed as much to the arts. These are not just careless words. They carry a deeper message that many find offensive. Dismissing an entire genre of music that is rooted in black culture sends a clear message, whether he meant to or not. His remarks have sparked backlash, with critics accusing him of ignoring the undeniable influence of black artists in shaping modern music. Why does he feel the need to make such dismissive comments? Though Dickinson has never openly expressed racist beliefs, his words have left many questioning where he truly stands.